Foundational Black American Lineage has got the Tethers tripping. They are enraged. They're mad. They're saying we're xenophobic. We're divisive. They're trying left and right to debunk us, but it's not working.
The price of freedom is death. We're coming to get our check.
Black first, my brothers and my sisters. Welcome, family. Welcome to your brother Afro Elite. We're gonna have a good one tonight. I was looking for my glasses. The second I played, like, oh no, where's my glasses? I found them though. We're about to have a good one. Today's been a very busy day for me, so a little bit behind schedule, but we still locked in. We still about to have a good one. So what we need to do before we get started is hit that like button. That's what we need to do. Okay, everybody in here right now, hit that like button. Hit that like button. All right, that's what we need to do. That's how we got to get stuff started. All right. So because of, maybe the tardiness or whatever the case is, because of the fact that I've had so much to do today, and you guys have been so very patient with me. First off, thank you for that. Second off, we're about to get right started. So before we do, we're going to play the copyright disclaimer to establish to YouTube that everything we play thus forth is protected under the guise of fair use. Okay. Everything. So YouTube don't mess with us. As we're gone, what you guys got to do is hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that share button, leave a comment, do all of that stuff. We'll be right back. Copyright disclaimer. Under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976, allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Nonprofit, educational, or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use. First off, before we go, did y'all see on For the Culture channel, we had a huge live, okay? Tariq had joined one of our lives on TikTok. It was huge. It was phenomenal. We just played that. If you guys haven't seen that, y'all need to make sure y'all put that in y'all watch later list. Go back and watch that. Good stuff. Tethers tripping. Now, speaking of a lot of y'all saying yes, y'all liked it. I hope y'all left a like as well too. So the Tethers, because Tariq Nasheed, shout out to our brother Tariq, because he been on there and they've been like tossing and turning. They ain't been sleeping. They've been having cold sweats. Okay, they've been popping Tylenol and Advil. They've been having migraine headaches. They are beside themselves. I'm telling you, they are beside themselves, ladies and gentlemen. So they're going above and beyond, out of their way, because the delineation movement is becoming so popularized. Even people who are not what you necessarily consider pro-black, they're starting to catch on to it too. At first, it was just us, as kind of like what you say, like the modern version or the modern day pro-black people. We've always been about black empowerment. It doesn't matter when we were. Before we were FBA, we were just, about black empowerment. We didn't just get onto this. Okay. We've been on this. Okay. We the real ones. Okay. We've been here for a minute. I know y'all have been here for a minute. We've all been here locked and loaded as grassroots foundational Black Americans for a minute. But you always have some who are like, not necessarily off code, but they're not really on code. They're kind of like in this between, when like if a situation pops up, they'll join for like, a boycott or a protest or something of that sort, but they're not really concerned with it on the day-to-day. Okay, they're like the need be allies, they're like the backup. But even them, they're starting to become more involved in the movement. They're starting to become more interested in what we got going on. So everybody's talking about it. And you know who's talking about it the most? Are the Tethers, believe it or not. The Tethers are the people who are talking about the most. The Tethers are the people who are the most upset with it, all right? Oh, and the Tethers are mad. They are pissed off. Like I said, they are beside themselves. I got to show y'all. Please hit that like button as we get started. Let me show y'all some of these Tethers. It's been so much. I had to find some off screen. Because the Tethers are so beside themselves. All right. So let me show y'all. Hold on. Oh, boy. Look at this one. Look at this.
Now, if you identify as an FBA, I'm gonna need you to come to the front. Now, This is from the official Foundational Black Americans website. All right, let's read. Okay? Foundational Black Americans, FBA, are proud descendants of black men and women who endured and survived one of the greatest. These resilient ancestors built the United States from the ground up, laying their foundation for the nation's economic, political, and cultural development. However, the rich history of FBA did not begin in 1619 with the arrival of enslaved people in Virginia. It began nearly a century earlier. In 1526, Spanish colonizers Lucas brought the first documented enslaved black people to the shores of what is now South Carolina and Georgia coastline. Shortly after their arrival, these enslaved black people courageously revolted against their captors, leading to their collapse of the Spanish settlement. The surviving Spaniards retreated to the Caribbean, leaving behind the livable black people. These freed black people integrated with the local Native American societies, marking a pivotal and often overlooking chapter in the lineage and cultural evolution of foundational black Americans. So, if you are identifying as an FBA, you are an African descent. I'm going to say that again. If you identify as an FBA, you are a descendant of an African. Okay? Now let's read about them, all right? FBA is actually a modern term. It was coined by Tariq Nasheed around 2018 to 2019 to describe black Americans whose ancestors were enslaved in what is now the United States. The lineage directly tied to these who built this country from the ground up. So, foundational black Americans are stating that they are the children of people who were enslaved, right? Okay. But my question is, we know that African American is reclassification, right? It's a reclassification. And before you were African American, what were you? You were Negro, colored, and mulatto, right? And before you were Negro, colored, and mulatto, you was what? Indian. Okay, so who are these FBAs? Because if you come from somewhere else, you are not of the land. Let me say that again. If you come from somewhere else, you are not of the land. It is literally what we have been saying to the Native Americans this whole time. They literally crossed the Bering Strait. They are not the original people of the land. Now, for some reason, you guys like to say it's not an organization. Well, guess what? Yes, it is an organization. But check this part out. It reclaims the identity of those who were labeled Negro.
Now, she's taking a long time. But listen, what she's saying is she's one of those people who deny the transatlantic slave trade. That's what she is. She's one of those people who are saying that. She feels as if there is absolutely no ties to Africa whatsoever, and that anybody who says that there is a tie to Africa is faking. Okay, is not of her. Then she goes on. I'm gonna fast forward because she takes a long. This first off, the whole video was 9 minutes. I didn't even get the whole thing. But then she goes on a long thing to talk about who Tariq is.
Who coined FBA, okay? Do a little background check on him, all right? Tariq Nasheed was born in Detroit, Michigan, and spent much of his youth in Birmingham, Alabama. At a young age, he moved to Los Angeles around 1991 to pursue opportunities. He used several allies like Tariq Elite, King Flex, and K Flex. Oh, so you moved to Hollywood and became an actor. Okay, let's keep going. Tariq Nasheed is a multi-talented through controversial figure. His work spans entertainment, activism, commentary, and more. Okay, y'all peep that commentary and entertainment. He also has published books on dating relationships and the game. Let's The Art of Macking. This is who y'all follow? Play or be played. This is who y'all follow. The Mac Within. No, I'm gonna leave this here because I want y'all to see who y'all following. The elite way. The art of gold digging. So y'all following a pimp? Y'all following a pimp? Y'all following a man who pimps out American Indian women? And y'all good with that? Y'all cool with that? Y'all are groupies. Let's look up the definition of a groupie. A groupie, a person who is regularly follows a celebrity or a pop or a rock group, especially in the hope of meeting or having sex with them. Now, when we were in the live, and I'll show you guys in a minute, when we were in the live, and I mean,
Okay, and that's pretty much because I just couldn't bear anymore. I'm sorry if y'all want to find her page, y'all can, brace yourself, but I couldn't bear anymore. Now, I want y'all to understand this is what they are this is what they are resource to. This is their resources, okay? Because they don't have any other option to get foundational Black American. They don't have any other option to debunk or discredit the movement. They can't say it's illegitimate. They can't say anything about it. So all of their talking points is now the website. There's some things wrong with the website. So we're going to pull up the website. There's two things she was saying. There's two. We're going to first pull up the website because I want to get this cleared up because a lot of people are trying to find this. Aha, I gotcha. The website says this. So what are y'all trying to talk about? Okay, so let's go up here. This is the official Foundational Black American website. Take this off the screen, put this on the screen. This is it, the official FBA website. All right, there we go. There we go, family. Hold on. Oh, why did it? Okay, it's like that. So down here is where they trying to get the I gotcha moment, okay? Because it says in 1526. Now, if you know in 1526, that's literally on the flag. So they're talking about in 1526 when the Spanish brought some of the enslaved Africans to the lands of America, which was now known as South Carolina and Georgia, and they beat them off and they stayed here. So the reason why that's on the website is because for the lineage, there should be a documented date of when the ethnogenesis began. All right. So that is the best documented date of the foundational Black American ethnogenesis. All right. To make sure that we are all locked in, that we have all aspects of the history. This does not mean that there were no Black people here. This also doesn't mean that Black people who were enslaved Africans weren't brought here. In the website, it says that. So you don't have a I gotcha moment in the website. Do y'all see this flag? Do y'all see this flag? I want you guys to take a very good look at that because we're going back to the website now. Let's go back to the website. Let's go all the way down here, okay, where it talks about the FBA flag. That's the same flag on there. Do you see it? That's the same flag. Okay. Do you see the 3 stars on the flag? Let's look at the 3 stars on the flag. Okay. The 3 stars represents the 3 groups who make up the ethnic group that would be foundational Black American. Okay. Star number 1, the Black Aboriginal people of North America. The Black Aboriginal people. So this is not to say that there were no Black people who are Aboriginal before. Okay. The Black explorers and traders who had contact with the Americas before Columbus. That's another group of people who are not living here, but they had trade and they were doing trading and exploring before the Moors. Okay. So when people talk about, well, y'all say y'all Moors, no, there is Moorish groups in the lineage. There is Moorish ties to the lineage. And then the third flag, the 3rd star, is the captives brought to the Western Hemisphere from Africa. That makes up the 3 stars of the lineage. So all of this, I got you, they don't have anything. And this is why, and they know they don't. They know they don't. This is why they resort to, well, Tariq is a pimp. He had the art of macking. Okay. This is why they resort to that. And when you debunk that stuff, they get real mad and they start going off. And I'm going to show you guys. Her stuff was kind of real slow. They really get upset and they really start going off. I'm going to have to, because I didn't have the time to download all of the stuff because they was just doing too much. So I'm going to have to actually go to the page where it came from. Hold on. Okay, hold on. Let me find this page. Hold on. Where is it? Where is it? It's right here. Are y'all hitting that like button for me? Because that would greatly help. Y'all look at this. Where is it? Where is it? This. Okay, hold on. Okay. This is it right here. It took a little second to set up. Y'all see it? It's up there. Do it like this. If you don't play. Oh, come on. Oh, it's muted. That's why.
Are lost and lose everything.
Look at this.
Black
y'all.
Americans in 2025 are the biggest losers on the earth. Like, I swear to God, y'all are. When I say losers, I'm talking about people that literally are lost. Black Americans in 2025 are the biggest losers on the earth. Like, I swear to God, y'all are. When I say losers, I'm talking about people that literally are lost and lose everything. You guys are lost in politics, lost in the economic landscape, lost within your heritage and identity. You lose in Section 8, lose in healthcare and welfare. Like, losers. I'm just like, bro, how many times do you guys have to lose? How many times do you have to end up on the losing side of America before you realize that the things that you identify as, your behaviors, the way you think and your ideologies are literally counterproductive for everything that you want to stand for? Because that's how I look at the Black community who are starting these new so-called identity movements. And all it is just a bunch of Black people in America taking African culture and rebranding it as theirs. Because Black Americans treat African culture as just another fashion brand. Especially you Sulan motherfuckers who keep waving around this fake imaginary ass flag. The reason why the Sulani flag is fake and imaginary is because it's not linked to any nation. It's not linked to a specific region, a specific piece of land. Every flag in the world is linked to a specific land and a people. So why do y'all think your made-up flag actually represents something? It doesn't. You cannot compare it or even put it next to any African flag, any other nation, or any other country's flag around the world. Because all flags that were established around the world came from blood, sweat, and tears. It came from them fighting for independence from colonialism. Their flag represents a legitimate location, a physical land in which the people reside on. What part of that do Sulani people not understand? Everybody's flag represents their fight for sovereignty. We do not have that as Black Americans because we are still in America. Now, until the U.S. government says, hey, this portion is no longer considered America. This is now Sulan. We are affording this piece of land to the Black Americans. Then we come up with this fucking flag that actually represents that piece and now we have been afforded to. Then the flag means nothing because it'll never happen. Sulan people need to understand that America is America, not Sulan. Because of this, America has an American flag. You know, the same flag that was established because we took our independence from Britain. Again, even your oppressor had to fight for his independence, therefore establishing a flag for a physical location. You cannot invent a new flag on a land that already has one and call it a country. That's literally not how nationhood works. Creating another national flag here in this country is literally you guys confusing identity with geography. So again, to Sulan people, your flag is fake as fuck and it's made the fuck up. Because flags are not a fashion statement. They are earned through blood, struggle, and liberation. Until there is a real physical piece of land in which we can refer to as Sulan for Black American people, your flag is as made up as Foster's home for imaginary friends. Your Sulani flag is a design, not a nation. I also find it crazy how Sulan people want to say how Africans can't do nothing for themselves in Africa and can't fight for themselves in Africa and can't protect themselves in Africa. But yet all of the African flags that represents an African nation, an African country on the African continent that you want to create your Sulan flag to actually compete and put next to them all came from those specific African people in those specific African countries fighting for their independence. You know, helping themselves, doing something for themselves. That's literally what their flags represent. So why do you feel like your flag represents the same thing? Only God knows why. Sulan people have to understand that you can be as uneducated, as stupid, and as ignorant as you want to be, but it won't change the fact that your flag is completely imaginary and made the fuck up. And because your whole identity movement is made up, and because your whole entire flag is completely fabricated and made up, means the opposite of the narrative that you've been trying to tell African people, which is the fact that in reality, the Sulan flag cannot stand in comparison to even a stitch of one African flag. And that's just being honest.
Oh my God. Oh my God, dude. He was upset. He was mad. He was pissed off. Oh, this man was so mad. He was so pissed off. But let's break something down. Let me say something. All right. All of this French, I don't know what I understand. The French colonized a lot of places, but they didn't really colonize us like that. Maybe for a little bit, but not really. We don't speak French. So with all of this we and we, I'm not getting that. Okay, I'm not understanding. Stop saying we. Ain't no we here. Okay, whatever nation or whatever flag you got, be proud of that. Be proud of whatever flag and nation you got. Don't be claiming this. And then let me go to something. These flags right here, let me put them up on the screen. These flags do have a tie to a nation. Every single last flag that you see right here, with the Foundational Black American flag, the Black American Heritage flag, the Juneteenth flag, the Sulan flag, all of these flags are tied to America. So they do have a tie to a nation. All of these flags represent a group of people, an ethnic group of people within the nation. It doesn't necessarily represent the nation, but they represent a group of people within the nation, and they are recognized. There are so many flags that don't necessarily represent a nation, but they are recognized and legitimized as they're recognized as legitimate flags. Now, what I find very interesting, let me tell y'all what I find very interesting, is nobody had a problem when we were using this flag, the Pan-African flag, the red, black, and green flag. Nobody had an issue when we were using that flag. Do you understand that? Do you see? When we were all like, yeah, we're all from the motherland. We're all African, and we all, need to go back to Africa. When we was on that type of time. Now, where's the Pan-African nation? What nation does this represent? Because it doesn't just represent Africa. Because Africa is not a nation, it's a continent. It doesn't represent Africa either. There's no African nation where this is the official recognized flag. Is there? No. This flag is not recognized to represent any nation in this world. And yet when we had this flag, when we were repping that flag, nobody had a problem with it. Nobody said it was made up. Nobody said it was fake. Nobody tried to delegitimize it. Nobody tried to criticize the meaning behind that flag. Nothing. That flag was uncriticized, untouchable. Now that we're saying, okay, well, now we need a flag that represents us as a lineage. Now it's, oh, that's a fake flag. That flag don't represent a nation. That flag, no, all it is hating that you're doing. And he comes off not that it was incorrect. He comes off like he got a personal issue. I'm telling you, our delineation, ladies and gentlemen, family, our delineation is getting them personally upset. They have their feelings hurt. You could tell the hurt feelings. I'm talking about the feelings is hurt. It's not our fault. It's not our fault. And we ain't here to solve them. We ain't here to coddle them. We're not here to do that. When the Pan-African flag was popping, nobody had an issue with it. Now that it's not popping, now everybody got a problem. Well, that's your problem. Look at this. And they still going on trying to call us divisive.
This is going to ruffle some feathers, but I'd like to read a book.
Hold on.
First, they came for the socialists, and I did not speak out because I was not a socialist. Then they came for the trade unionists, and I did not speak out because I was not a trade unionist. Then they came for the JEWs, and I did not speak out because I was not a JEW. And then they came for me. And there was no one left to speak for me. This was written by a Protestant pastor during the Holocaust, and it still rings true today. See, xenophobia is a tool of white supremacy. It is, and it always has been. And you have allowed your xenophobia, your need to delineate, to fuel you and Black Americans to be tethered to our version of oppression. This is not an aha moment. This is not an I told you so moment. This is deeply terrifying. Because while there is a country for me to be deported back to, this hate and hatred for immigrants that has distracted you into forgetting that you have always been their true enemy is what has led to them now having a tool to displace and disenfranchise even more Black Americans. Please understand that. Look at the cities that are being hit. These are not cities that have a high Black immigrant population. These are Black American cities. Wake up. They simply use your hate for us to distract you while they created this perfect weapon to use against you. And you help them. Please understand that.
Okay. Now the whole we're first off, let me clear something up. Now, clearly she's a tether, right? Let me address something real fast. We are not xenophobic. Let's get to the definition. Let's use words properly. We're adults and we're going to use words properly. Xenophobia is the irrational fear or hatred of a foreign group of people. We don't have a fear, nor do we have a hatred of a foreign group of people. No. We have a disdain for tether behavior. If y'all was cool like y'all supposed to be, then we wouldn't have an issue with you. We don't have an issue because y'all got an accent. We don't have an issue because y'all listen to different music, wear different clothes, have a different history. We don't have an issue because y'all eat different food. That's not our issue. We don't have an issue because y'all have a different flag. That's not our issue. We have an issue because y'all try to come over here and y'all undermine us. That's our issue. Now, our issue is with that from people who are domestic or foreign. So by definition, that's not xenophobia. That's being on code. That's what that is, because that's establishing order of a conduct of behavior. That's all we're doing. We're establishing an order of a conduct of behavior. And what we realize is, as we're doing that, is that most of the foreigners, they have a tether mindset. Now, the ones who don't, cool. The ones who do, problem. If you don't, cool. If you do, problem. That's how we've been operating. Okay, you got some non-FBAs who come on here and they support and they do what they got to do, and that's cool, solid. That's not xenophobia, because if it was xenophobia, we would dismiss all of them, and we don't. Okay, we have a standard of behavior and a standard of practice. Now, the issue is y'all are saying is blatant xenophobia because most of y'all have that practice. Most of you guys do. Most of you guys refuse. It's not like y'all don't want to be or can't be or don't know how. Most of you all absolutely refuse to be in proper alignment with the locals here, with the natives here, with foundational Black Americans here. That's y'all problem. That's y'all problem. And how you know it's not xenophobia is because other nations don't want y'all in their nation either because of y'all problem. Go look in Africa. Do you know how many protests they have going on in Africa now, today, as we're speaking today, right now? They got protests going on, wars going on, because they don't want other African immigrants going into their nation. They don't want to. There's South Africans. I can play you some clips. Let me play you some clips. Since we're in this, since we're talking about it, let me play you some clips. I might as well do that. Do y'all remember this? Let me hold on. It's coming up. Y'all remember this one?
Belongs to South African. I hate foreigner. I hate Krikamba. I hate Kwara. I hate Zaizai. I don't like foreigner. Foreigner must go to their country. I hate foreigners. I am xenophobic. I hate, again, I hate times and times. I don't know how many times. I hate foreigners. I am xenophobic. I don't like foreigner because foreigners, I don't have a child because of foreigner. Ramaphosa, take these foreigners to their country right now.
Now, we ain't even on that type of time. We not on that type of time. We should send up there saying, hey, you're going to have to respect us as the foundation of this nation. And they're saying no. And we saying, okay, cool. Then we're going to have to act accordingly. They're the ones who saying we don't like to see you at all. That's them. And they're not, notice, they're not saying anything about them. This clip, I don't see nobody having an issue with the South African women saying, I hate them, I hate them, I hate them, I hate them. We don't even be out here saying nothing like that. And they don't have an issue with them. They have an issue with us. Why? Because they want to colonize. They want to practice the same colonization that was done to them. They want to have that same practice here. They want to erase our ethnicity and our specialness and our ties and roots to this country here. And we're not going for that. And because we're not going for that, they want to call it xenophobic. Because we're not sitting there and allowing other people to redefine us. We're allowing other people to take our resources. We're allowing other people to replace our culture and our ethnicity with their culture and their ethnicity. Because we're not allowing that to happen, they call it xenophobia. And we know it's not. We know it's not. Okay? We absolutely know it's not. We know. So let me get to the super chat real quick. Shout out to Mike. Mike says she's babbling all this while not in Africa. No, she's not. Yeah, they never are. That's not xenophobia. What they want is us to lay our guards down and let them come in and colonize our culture out of the way. And we're not going for that. And they're mad about that. And they calling us CEI or CIA and all of this, the FBI. They sitting up there doing all of that. Let me show y'all. Hold on. Got to put some more stuff up here. Oh, yeah, we got it tonight. We in here tonight. Y'all make sure y'all hit that like button. We are in here tonight. Hold on. Let me pull this clip up. Okay, hold on. Here it is. I don't like the fact that okay. Why does it do that? I don't like the fact that it does that. Okay, this clip right here.
Because I respect how people chose to identify themselves. And if y'all wanted to call yourself FBA, I have no problem with that. That's fine. I have no issue with that. And for y'all to talk about reparation and stuff, I'm all for that, because that means that even though I am not African American, but that means that my son would get some money and my wife would get some money. Hell yeah! But if y'all keep coming in my comments talking about you're not black one more time, yo, it's almost laughable. Because a lot of y'all, I don't know what's in your brain. Do you guys have a brain? Talk about I'm not black. What is this? What is this? If y'all get pulled over right now, you think the popo gonna say, oh, he's an FBA, he's okay? No, they're gonna do what they do regardless. They can give two F's about how y'all decide to identify yourselves. FBA sounds more like CIA, because I dig a little bit. And a lot of y'all are Trump supporters. A lot of y'all. Now, y'all want to dissociate yourself with being African? Hey, listen, I'm Caribbean, right? But I will never deny my African heritage, right? But if y'all want to divide yourself, let me ask y'all that question. Where was Malcolm X mother's from?
Okay, let's go. We got to break it down because it's just too much. It's too much. It's too much. It's too much for me to. It's too much. I got to break it down. It's too much. Okay, first of all, you're saying I'm not black. We're saying you're not foundational Black American. That's what we're saying. Okay. Now, let me warn you all something. There's been a group of people online. They're trying to resurface. They're trying to rebrand. I don't want to even say their name, because it would be giving them too much credit, because I've already dealt with these groups of people before. And if I say their name, they're going to screen record this and they're going to post this on Twitter so they can get some. They do that all the time. Anytime I mention their name, they screen record it, because they watch all of my content. They screen record it and they post it on the internet so they can get some clout. And I'm not even trying to give them no clout. But there's a group of people who are not FBA, mind you. They're not FBA. That's been exposed. And they're there to infiltrate and become like radical extremists within the movement. Okay. And they're the ones who are like, you know what? I'm saying that black only means Black American. And if you're not Black American, you're not black. Black means this. And black is not a race. Black is only an ethnicity. And then it's got us scratching my head like, okay, when did we get on this page? And then I had to do some digging and find out, oh, you guys are agents because you guys are not even of the lineage. So I want you guys to understand a lot of these people, I swear I want to say their name, but I know they're going to take it and use it for clout. They're probably going to take it anyway. But these people are trying to resurface and trying to give us this very extremist element to the movement. We're not extreme. We're logical. We're just logical people. Logic, we just let logic lead. We're just logical. We are not extremists or divisive. You are not foundational Black American. Okay? And now when you say you black and you say we black, you're trying to make it seem as if we're one and the same. No, we're not one and the same. We're not one and the same. We are foundational Black American to this land. You said, I think he said he was Caribbean. You're from the Caribbean. If we went to the Caribbean, I wouldn't say, hey, I mean, I know you're Jamaican and I know I'm FBA, but ain't we all black? No, I wouldn't say that to them because they would tell me no. If I went to Haiti and I said, hey, I mean, I'm black. Look at me. I'm black and you're black. So we all black. They would say no. If I went to Trinidad, if I went to Puerto Rico, if I went to the Dominican Republic, if I went to Brazil, if I went anywhere else, if I went to Africa, if I went anywhere else and I said, hey, I mean, we kind of the same, they would straight up tell me no. They would say no. So that's all we're doing here is we're saying hey, we're foundational Black American and you're from wherever you're from. Rep your set, because the issue is that they want to rep their set when it's something positive. And then when it's something that they can benefit from us from, then they want to say, hey, we all black. That's the problem. When they graduate from college, when they get a degree, when they buy a house, when they start a business, then it's, oh, I'm the first Haitian in the family to graduate college. I'm the first Nigerian in the family to become a doctor. I'm the first Jamaican in the family to own a business. It's all of that stuff. But then when it's something about reparations, notice he said that. When it's something about reparations, when it's something about tangibles, when it's something about legislation, when it's something about our culture, then hey, we all black? Because when I get pulled over by the police, they don't really ask where I'm from like that. So can't we all be black, please, please? No. Everybody from now on gotta rep they set. That's not a good or a bad thing. It depends on you. But you're gonna have to rep your set. You're gonna have to stand on it. Stand on your nation. That's what everybody's doing from now on. Ain't no y'all coming over here when y'all want to, then y'all leaving when y'all want to. They're used to the African American version of us. Let me tell you that. They're used to us having this open door lineage where people, an open door culture and ethnicity where people get to come in and come out and come in and come out. No, ain't none of that no more. Everybody got to stand on their nation. Rep your set. Rep your set. Then he goes on to talk about where Malcolm X's mother is from. Let me tell you something about Malcolm X's mother. With no disrespect, much respect to Malcolm X's mother. Much respect to her. But she's only technically speaking, she's only half Grenadian because her father is white. Now, we kind of can put together how that happened, but she's technically a mulatto. Technically speaking. But even if we wanted to say she's fully Caribbean, which technically she isn't, but even if we wanted to say she's fully Caribbean, what does that matter? What does that matter? Because according to Malcolm X and Malcolm X's autobiography, according to Malcolm X, his mother was not a factor in him becoming Malcolm X, him going from Malcolm Little to Malcolm X. According to Malcolm's own words, Malcolm did not ever see himself as a Caribbean person. He didn't. He saw himself as a black person. And of course, he wanted the best for the Caribbean. He wanted the best for Africa. He wanted the best for America. He wanted the best for everybody. But he did not identify and see himself as a Caribbean. Y'all are decades and decades and generations after his death, keep trying to throw a Caribbean jacket on Malcolm X that he never wore. And this is why we got to make sure that they don't do that to our brother, because Malcolm X represented himself and the culture very well. Malcolm X did. And Malcolm X, and this is not even to be disrespectful to his mother, but his mother was taken from him at a very young age. And this is before he became empowered and became Malcolm X. Malcolm X's mother was not her, especially her Caribbean side, was not the factor that led to him becoming the activist that we know him of today. And he did not rep the Caribbean. He didn't. So you're not going to put a Caribbean jacket. You're not going to put a Grenadian jacket on him because it makes y'all look good, because y'all don't have a Malcolm X. That's why they do it. They don't have a Malcolm X. They don't have nobody that's got murals everywhere and people buy their posters and people wear their shirts and people quote their statements. They don't have a version of that. So they're trying to tether onto Malcolm X, and we're just not letting that slide. We just not. Let's continue.
Where was Malcolm X's mother's from? Grenada. She was Caribbean, which means that Malcolm X was Caribbean too. So don't claim him now. Don't claim him out. No, you're FBA, right? Don't claim him now. Don't claim him now. Let me get a little younger. What's biggest small ethnicity? Where was his mother's from? Jamaica. So don't choose no side now. Stay on that side. No, you FBA, right? Stay on that side. Stay on that side. My thing is, y'all cannot pick and choose. It's either you on that side or you on our side. Talking about I'm not black. Do you guys know what I've been through? Do you guys know that my whole childhood was robbed from me just because I was black? And how I had to fight people as a young kid? Y'all work for the enemy. Instead of being here and uniting, you're out here trying to divide. Y'all work for the enemy. Y'all don't have a clue what the F I've been through for being black. Y'all don't have a clue. And that's why every single time I could defend my black brothers and sisters, every single time I could say something about some injustice, I do. Because I know how it feels. I know how it feels. So like I said, at first, I was all up and on with y'all movement. I was cool with it, even though I'm not part of it, but I was cool with it. But now, I know that y'all are not for black people. Y'all are low-key working for the enemy. That's why every single time y'all come around my comments, y'all keep saying, you're not black, you're not black. But everywhere I go, the world reminds me that I'm black. When I drive my car, the cops reminds me that I'm black. When I go to the mall, the security people there remind me that I'm black. When I walk on the street and I get stopped, these cops remind me that I'm black every day. So I don't give a F of what you're talking about. I am proud to be black. Now, can y'all say the same? I don't.
Can we say the same? Guess what? Guess one thing we can say that you can't say. We're in our homeland. That's one thing we can say that you can't say. They're so proud about being something that they're not from. I can say I'm proud about being in my homeland. Can you say that? Can you say that? Now, see, the thing is that I was supporting y'all movement and then y'all flipped on me. They always tell that lie like, hey, I was on y'all side and then y'all turned against me. No. You must have started saying something, because Foundation Black Americans, we just don't flip. We don't switch up on nobody. You must have started, if you were in support, if you were like, hey man, I hope y'all get y'all reparations or whatever, we leave you alone. We don't mess with you. We're not sitting up there on the prowl looking for people to harass and looking for people to target. We don't do that. You, Mr. Tether dude, you must have started doing something, and then we started getting on you about it. And now you all like, how are y'all saying this about me? I'm black because when I'm in the car, they remind me I'm black, and when I'm in the mall, they remind me I'm black, and when I'm in the store, and when I'm in the job, and when I'm in the grocery store, and when I'm at the house, I'm reminded I'm black. No. Nobody started flipping out on you. You started saying something. You don't like the way the movement is going, because we're not allowing y'all to start doing anything disrespectful. And because of that, y'all making it seem like y'all victims of something that y'all not. Y'all not victims. You all are not victims. Because if you guys were so victimized, you guys would go back home. You guys would be back in your homeland if you were that victimized. So I know for a fact y'all can't be that victimized. Y'all still here. I know for a fact y'all can't be that. But they out here.
Let's
they
talk about why the whole
calling this divisive and all of this. They look. I got some more. Hold on. Because I'm telling you, the Tethers are pissed. Mad.
Let's talk about why the whole FBA, Foundational Black American concept, is stupid. It's also divisive, toxic, and holding the entire Black community back. Yeah, I said it. At its core, FBA tries to gatekeep Blackness. In a nutshell, it basically says that only enslaved Black Americans and their descendants can reap the benefits of being Black because they built this country, and everyone else here is just riding the wave. But here's the thing. All Black people have contributed to the struggle, the progress, and the culture. Whether you're Caribbean, African, Afro-Latinx, or American-born. When someone is anti-Black, they don't check your ancestry history before attacking you. FBA logic ignores how deeply connected our global Black history is. Pan-Africanism exists for a reason. The Civil Rights Movement didn't just inspire people in America. It sparked a global...
Now, notice how she said, oh, you know, everybody's contributed. Everybody did something. Okay, what did y'all do? And here's the thing. The winners don't have to discredit nobody. When you're a winner, you don't mind anybody else. When you're on top, you're not checking for number 2 and 3. You're on top. We're number 1, so we don't have to check for number 2 and 3. We're not bothered by number 2 and 3. But when y'all claim that we all number 1, I'm looking at the scoreboard and I'm saying, are we're all in this? We're all number 1 because I'm seeing all the points belong to me. If you in a basketball game and 70% of the team score belongs to the shots you threw, and everybody's all like, we all did this. We all did it. Are you sure we all did? I mean, you probably made a point or two. Thank you. But did we all do this together? Because I'm seeing 70% of the whole score plus all the assists and rebounds belong to me. So first off, to be honest, more than 70%, but 70%. And now y'all want to take a picture with the trophy. I don't really know if y'all deserve to take a picture with the trophy. No, I'm just saying. I ain't not even to be a hater. I'm just saying. I just got to say that because she says, yeah, we all contributed. Okay. Y'all came here after the country was built, though. The country was an established country that was being built, and it is pretty much was officially established in like the 1830s. For the most part, besides maybe a few, like a very small handful, for the most part, immigrants didn't start coming over until the 1860s. And then the ones from the diaspora didn't start coming over until at least like a couple decades after that. The immigrants really didn't start coming here until after slavery, to be honest, because there was still slavery in the nation. Y'all didn't start coming here until after slavery. And the country was already built after slavery. So what did y'all really do? And shout out to the assist, no disrespect. Shout out to the rebounds, no disrespect. Shout out to the passes, no disrespect. But we are the ones who got the points on the board. You're trying to make it seem like this was all some equal effort. No, it was not. No, it wasn't. And every time y'all do that, we have to reiterate to the fact that y'all didn't really do what y'all trying to do, because y'all are trying to root yourselves in a country that was already here. The roots were already here. Y'all just came after the fact. Y'all came after the fact. That's the history of it. This isn't even to be disrespectful, but we are going to be truthful about the history. Oh, notice we all contributed. And then she skips past that point. She doesn't elaborate 1% on what she just said.
Movement. The South African anti-apartheid movement was inspired by the American civil rights movement. Civil rights leaders like Martin Luther King Jr. deeply influenced anti-apartheid leaders such as Nelson Mandela. And
first off, what you're saying is actually very true. That's actually true. But this is just reiterating the fact that foundational Black American culture has globally led to the empowerment of all of the diaspora. That's what you're saying, because this isn't no back and forth thing. Because you could say that, well, the civil rights movement that inspired the Nelson Mandela, and that inspired South Africans to fight against apartheid, but you can't name anything from the diaspora that inspired us to fight. We've been the inspiration of everybody else, and yet nobody else has been the inspiration of us. So this is really showing how we benefited everybody else.
Tutu. The nonviolent resistance tactics used by U.S. civil rights activists were studied in the African National Congress and employed by Nelson Mandela and others. The U.S. student-led protests and boycotts in the 1980s, like the divestment campaign that was created in order to demand companies in the U.S. to stop divesting in South Africa because of apartheid, those campaigns and protests also drew inspiration from the 1960s civil rights sit-ins. In the United
Yes. So, and this is showing how we fought. Not only did we inspire them to fight against apartheid, we also fought in America to aid them. We did the best we could to aid them, and we were really a huge factor in them ending apartheid in South Africa. So yeah, that's another point on the board for us. Shout out to FBA.
United Kingdom, there was a Black British movement. The British Black Panthers, who were founded in 1968, were directly inspired by the U.S. Black Panther Party. The Brixton uprisings in the 1980s were fueled by similar issues: police brutality, racial profiling, and economic inequality. Meanwhile, independence movements in both Africa and the Caribbean also lit fires under anti-racism efforts here in the U.S. The Haitian Revolution...
Okay, everything she was saying is true up until this point, and we got to clear this up, because now they're going to, and this is a talking point that they use, that in 1804, the Haitian Revolution inspired us to have a revolution against slavery. Let's listen to that. Let's listen to it, because the thing is that we've been the ones leading, and this isn't to discredit them. This isn't to say that they were not brave. This isn't to say that they were not righteous. All the credit to them. I'm really not trying to be disrespectful, but I'm trying to tell the history of it. If you say they got it from us, then their points we kind of get like a half a point from their points, if we're going to tell the truth about it. And because we've been the core of Black empowerment, and everybody else has been looking to us for inspiration, now they're trying to say we got inspiration from something else, which is ahistorical. Listen to this. Listen to it, y'all.
Which took place from 1791 to 1804, was the world's first successful Black republic. It had long inspired African Americans from the abolitionist period all the way through to modern Black nationalism. And then there's Marcus Garvey and Pan-Africanism.
Okay. Let me go ahead. Let me go ahead and say this about 1804. I love 1804. I got the DVD when Tariq did the documentary. I have the DVD. I love 1804, and I would never try to discredit or shame 1804 or anything of the sort. I would never do that. But 1804 is an isolated event. 1804 is an isolated event, at least for the most part, to the Caribbean and to South America. 1804 did not trickle into America. There were already several revolutions that we know of, because there were some we didn't know of. There were several revolutions that we know of prior to sorry about that, got a call. There were several revolutions that we knew of prior to 1804. And then if you know that there's revolutions that we know of, there's a bunch of revolutions that we don't know of. There's a bunch of revolutions that we don't know of prior to 1804. They're making it seem as if we were sitting back being all like, hey, oh man, this slavery stuff sucks, man. I hate this stuff. I mean, I wish we could do something about it. And then we heard about 1804, like, oh, wow, look at those Haitians. I guess we can fight against them. Okay, cool. And then we picked up a sword and started going at folks. No. And this ain't to take to discredit them, but that's an isolated event that had no consequence on what we had going on. That was not a factor in our revolution, because we were already fighting for our own revolution beforehand, independent of what happened in 1804. So that stop trying to make it seem as because 1804 happened chronologically before our revolution, that their revolution was the inspiration or was the cause for our revolution, because that's not the truth. That's not what the history of it really is. And we're not going to let you lie. I'm not going to let you lie about it. Then she goes on to talk about Marcus Garvey.
Garvey's Universal Negro Improvement Association, based in Jamaica and Harlem, laid early foundations for global Black pride, influencing later leaders like Malcolm X and even the Nation of Islam. And Ghana's independence under Kwame Nkrumah energized the Pan-African movement. Martin Luther King even attended the independence ceremony and was inspired to push harder for full freedom in the U.S. Ghana even became a symbolic spiritual home for African Americans. W.E.B. Du Bois moved there in his final years. Not to mention, the global Black Power movement from Brazil to the UK to South Africa adopted symbols, styles, and ideologies that cross borders, like the Afro, the raised fist, and radical liberation rhetoric. We've always fed off of each other's resistance and strength. Divide that up.
No. That's not us feeding off of each other. Y'all keep talking about Marcus Garvey. Marcus Garvey had to leave Jamaica. He had to leave Jamaica twice, 2 times. That's 2 times. Marcus Garvey was not no support. He was from Jamaica, yeah. But y'all keep, Marcus Garvey, he inspired a lot. Truth be told, Marcus Garvey and the movement did. Now, when people know about the history of Marcus Garvey, there's some sketchy stuff there. It's some sketchy stuff in Marcus Garvey's history that a lot of people are now discovering. But the truth be told, Marcus Garvey wouldn't have been nothing if he didn't come to America, and he knew that. That's why he came. That's why he came, because there was already a movement of resistance. There was already a movement of Black empowerment that pre-existed Marcus Garvey. Nobody was sitting up there on their hands like, man, I wish we could do better. And then here comes Marcus Garvey from Jamaica. And then we're all like, okay, cool, Marcus Garvey's going to lead the way. No, there was already a movement here that existed here before him. We already had the Harriet Tubmans around during that time. There was already a movement here. Marcus Garvey had to be here. Marcus Garvey owes us. We made Marcus Garvey. There would not have been a Marcus Garvey if it wasn't for foundational Black Americans. It wouldn't have been. Stop doing that. And he does have sketchy history too, but we ain't even gonna go all the way in.
And we lose power. Malcolm X, Caribbean roots. Shirley Chisholm.
Stop. See, Lord. Malcolm X, Caribbean roots. Malcolm X's main roots are foundational Black American, and they keep trying to strip Malcolm X from that. Caribbean roots. And notice they keep saying roots. They can't say he's Caribbean. They're saying Caribbean roots. That don't make him. No, you're not doing that. You're not doing that, because his Caribbean roots wasn't no factor. It's not like Caribbeans came here and helped Malcolm X do anything.
Born to Caribbean immigrants. Nipsey Hussle, and a Trean father. Rihanna, Bob Marley, Marcus Garvey. Y'all would have canceled them all under FBA rules. So please make that make sense. The real goal here?
There's no FBA rules. FBA is a lineage. What rules?
Should be dismantling white supremacy, not competing for trauma points. FBA ends up sounding a lot like the same anti-immigrant rhetoric we claim to hate. And ironically, it does the work for the oppressor.
Okay. It does the work for the oppressor. Look, do you see how mad they are? Mad. They're livid. These tethers are livid about foundational Black Americans. They pissed off. Let me show y'all some more stuff. I know we late, but listen, I need y'all to hit that like button. That's what I need y'all to do. It's very important that y'all do that for me. It's very, very important that y'all hit that like button for me. Now, you trying to talk about points. Y'all are the ones competing with us. You guys are the ones competing with us. You guys are the ones always trying to act like y'all better than us or got something that we don't have. Y'all the ones doing that, not us. We're not competing with y'all. We're not bothered by you guys. Y'all the ones out here trying to strip us from our nation. Look at this. This is why we got to delineate, because you guys keep trying to colonize everything. Let me show y'all. Oh, where'd it go? Okay, look at this.
Switch. Take African culture,
right here.
switch it up. Take African culture, switch it up, and call it yours.
Why is it okay?
Take African culture.
Why is it?
Take African culture.
Okay.
Take African culture.
I don't know why it's not playing from the beginning.
I'm literally in that video comment section and I'm seeing people talking about this is Gullah Geechee. This is not Gullah Geechee. This is African culture. African culture and African culture alone. I don't care what your grandmama told you. Your grandmama lied to you. This is West African culture. Black
now,
Americans.
So, you know, let me take it back because she shows this is in a Gullah Geechee parade. This is an American Day parade. And they have this is in Harlem. And I'm not sure exactly what this is because, you know, every nation, every land has kind of like their own unique culture. Shout out to the Gullah Geechees. I'm not Gullah Geechee, but shout out to them. Much love, much respect to them. And yet here he goes talking about Gullah Geechee culture is really African culture.
I'm literally in that video comment section and I'm seeing people talking about this is Gullah Geechee. This is not Gullah Geechee. This is African culture. African culture and African culture alone.
Okay, now here's the thing. Here's what I don't let me talk about this for a second. Here's what I don't like. Can't stand it. Y'all, when we say, you know, Africans, they have a behavior that we don't like, they're disrespectful. Y'all be all like, well, Africa is a continent. Y'all can't just say Africa. Africa's a continent. Y'all be playing that little game that Africa's a continent and we got to be specific about which group of people from Africa when we have an issue. Y'all be playing that, well, you can't just say Africa because Africa's not a nation. Okay. But then when y'all want to say something about culture, y'all just say, well, that's African culture. Wait, I thought Africa was just a continent. I thought Africa wasn't a nation. You see how they be playing those games? When it benefits them, they say African culture. But then when we say, hey, you know, Africans got this issue. Oh, well, no, I'm Igbo. So what are you talking about? Are you talking about Igbo culture? Then they want to get specific. Oh, no, we're not doing that. We're not going to allow y'all to be super specific when we try to criticize y'all, when we try to get on y'all, when we try to correct y'all. We got to be super specific, not just about the nation, about the ethnicity, about the tribe, about the age, about the gender, about the sexuality. We got to be super specific about all of that. But then when it fits y'all, y'all just get to say African culture. Where? From where? African culture from where? Africa's a pretty big continent with a lot of different cultures in it. From where? He can't say where, but it's African culture, and we got to give all of the credit to Africa. No, we're not doing that.
I don't care what your grandmama told you. Your grandmama lied to you. This is West African culture. Black Americans.
And they keep trying to say West African. Do you know how much West African culture is? Nobody can tell you exactly what West African culture is or is not. Because West Africa is not a nation. That is a whole large geographic with many different nations in it, with many different ethnicities, with many different tribes, and with many different cultures. Y'all can't just say, well, that's West African. And another thing is then y'all would have to prove that that originated before we did it. Because Africa today copies a lot of FBA culture. So just because something is on the continent of Africa does not mean it's native there. Does not mean they made it. We got to stop with this thing where we act like it's a religion that anything from Africa, they made it and they get credit for it. No. I don't know, to be honest, of many Africa. I don't know where this is from. And he doesn't either. That's why he's saying West Africa.
Can take from African culture. Black Americans can indulge in African culture because Black Americans are African. But when you want to come out here talking about we made this, like this is you, this is Gullah Geechee, this is not African, this is you. You can indulge in African culture because you are African. Who am I to tell anybody that they are not African? You are African if you want to be. You can be African. I don't care. We don't care. Nobody cares. So the FBA is saying that this is Black American culture, that this is Gullah Geechee because you guys are the blueprints and you guys will never take anything from Africans. I just want to know, On what page of the blueprint is this? Is this in the African section of the blueprint? Because this is African culture, okay? You can indulge in African culture. We don't care because we're not like you, okay? You can indulge in African culture because you are African. We don't care. We don't care. But don't take African culture, switch it up, and call it yours.
Okay, you see that? You see that? They're upset. They want it to be African culture. It's not. And before, when we used to give credit and be all like, yeah, this is African culture. Oh, they used to love that. But now we're saying, no, this is our culture. Our culture specifically, they're hating on that. They're mad about that. Now, the song Sexy So Long, he has an issue with that too. Hold on, let me show you. Hold on. Why is this? Oh, I gotta do it like that. Okay, look at what he has to say. Here we go. Oh. It always mutes automatically.
So it's been a week ever since that song came out, okay? I actually like that song. I actually like it. And I don't care if she was throwing shades at other black people in the diaspora. I don't care about that. What I care about is the numbers, because y'all clowned Tyler for her numbers in the US. Y'all remember that? It's payback time. Because why this song hasn't hit 1 million streams yet? This is a FUBU song. For you, by you. It's you. Y'all said Tyler couldn't sell in the US because y'all make everything move. Why y'all not moving this song? Not even 1 million streams. What's happening? Y'all lost the keys to success? How? This song hasn't hit 1 million streams yet. It's been a week. It's a flop. It's a flop. And you wanted to make us believe that Tyler's career was in your hands? Come on now. Auntie Tua, you see that? You see that? Tyler's EP? 100 million streams.
Okay, 100 million. First off, how long did it take Tyler to get to 100 million streams? And those are streams. Those are not units sold. No, we're not going to get to streams because you're talking about a single song from a new artist who's independent, or at least was at the time. I don't know if she's signed now. A new artist versus Tyler. Tyler has a whole studio backing her. She has all of this promotion, all of these millions. Tyler was well established. You can't compare Tyler's success because her EP immediately flopped. Nobody knew about that. People's like, Tyler dropped the EP? Yeah, Tyler flopped. No, you can't be all, well, the song don't have 1 million streams by now. The song actually launched and did a lot better than Tyler's entire EP. That song, Sexy So Long, it went viral all over the internet. Everybody was talking about it. Everybody did a take, whether they loved it or hated it. Nobody did a take about Tyler's thing because they didn't hear it. Nobody heard it. Nobody knew about it. Nobody knows. Name a Tyler song from the EP. I will pay anybody who can name. Don't Google it. Don't Google it off the top of your head. Don't Google it. Name a Tyler song from the EP. Don't Google it. Don't nobody knew that. No, people don't know that. Tyler had already won a Grammy. Tyler has been performing around. Okay. Now, Mana Leo got sold out tours right now. She has sold out tours right now in multiple states. Tyler can't do that. And she has all of this promotion, all of this publicity, all of this anything. So, yeah, it's a flop. So, yeah, we cooking. Yeah, we cooking. Come on. Don't do that. Yeah, somebody says Water. Water's not on the new EP. That song came out like 3 years ago. Maybe 2 years ago. I don't know. Song came out years ago. And that's the only song people know about. Come on now. No. Yeah, Tyler's doing good. Delusion. I'm telling you, Tethers is losing their minds. Gotta say something else. Now you got some people who are I don't know if they Tethers or they half FBAs. We gotta watch the half FBAs. We gotta watch them.
The
okay.
FBA movement is such.
I want y'all to see this. Hold on. They're either half FBAs or they're liberal, and they don't like the fact that foundational Black Americans, for the most part, are not really siding with any political party because it's just a lineage. But most of us are not siding with any political party. Look at this. Why is it always
Americans? Because the FBA movement is such a disappointment. As a Black American, I thought it was going to be something that we could use to reclaim our identity and, you know, have something to identify with, like for real, instead of like African American. You know, we're foundational Black Americans because we built this country. We're the foundation to the United States. I've known about FBA since the beginning. I followed Tariq Nasheed from the age I was 12 all the way up to earlier this year, so almost 10 years. There were definitely signs that it was going to go in a very bad direction. First sign should have been this flag. Now, I don't really have a problem with the American flag like that, but if we're trying to have our own ethnogenesis, we should have a flag that's different than the United States, because it's really just the American flag. I didn't know till later that we do have our own flag, which is this flag, the Black American Heritage flag that's been around since 1967. I think it's crazy that so many FBAs are claiming the American flag, the colonizer's flag, over this flag. The second one is...
Oh, no, okay. No. Let me clear that up. There's nothing wrong with the FBA flag, because the FBA flag does, and I like the FBA flag, and we should use because this is a way of fighting back, because we were always taught to in programs socialized that we should have no claim to the nation since slavery. Even though we were building the nation since slavery, we were always taught that we have no claim to it. We have no rights to anything. And with the FBA flag, this is saying, and he's a young man, so let me educate the young man on something. I hope he's listening. With the FBA flag and with the colors of the foundational Black American is saying, no, technically, we are the nation. We are America. We are the builders of America. We're the ones who fought in every war. We're the real patriots. The white supremacists are not really patriots of this nation, not for real. They will switch up on this nation. They will burn the flag. They will invade the Capitol the second something goes their way. The second something doesn't go their way, they will flip on this nation. We're the only people who've actually built and improved this nation. We have 3 whole amendments that everybody in the nation benefits from because of us. We've had laws, civil rights laws, that everybody in America benefits from because of us. So yes, we are rooted in this nation. I understand we got a lot of problems we got to fix. I know that. That's true. But that doesn't take us away from the nation. That doesn't strip us from our nationality. We need to embrace that so we can fix the problems in the nation. You can't fix a problem in the nation if you say you are rejecting that nation. You can't do both things. So yes, we do have to embrace our nationality. We built the nation. We should. It would be disrespectful to our ancestors if we don't. We have to embrace it and then analyze it and then say, okay, now this is what needs to be fixed. This is what needs to be improved. This is what needs to be implemented. This is how we move forward. This is why foundational Black Americans in the movement has been moving so fast and so effectively, because we're not saying that we're not really from here, but we want to fix from here. No, we're saying we're from this nation. We belong here. We have more rights here than anybody else. We have deeper roots here than anybody else, and we need to be done right. We need justice. Okay, we need reparations. All right, you can't really even argue for reparations and say I don't belong in the nation. What are you doing? You can't strip your nationality away or try to disclaim your nationality, discredit your nationality, and then say, we're going to fix the nation. No, this is why we're being effective. All right. Then he says, we already have a flag. We do. And we use both. Do you see both flags? We use both. Then he's all like, okay, I don't understand why so many FBAs use the American flag. I don't know what number you would say so many, but truth be told, like it or not, we are American. Like it or not, I understand it, because we've been socialized by the dominant society to say that we're not really American. So I understand the socializing. I understand the conditioning. I understand the brainwashing. But love it or hate it, we are American. If you're American, you're American. That's just what it is. Love it or hate it. So yeah, they can use that flag. That is our flag. That is the American flag is our flag. We are the builders of America. We had I forget her name. Y'all put it in the chat room, please. The FBA sister who sold the flag, who put the flag together. So that is our flag. I think what's her name? Grace Risher, if I'm not mistaken. That is our flag. And we don't have Grace Risher. Yeah, it's Grace Risher, right? Much respect to her. And we don't have a Black American Heritage flag emoji. We don't have an FBA flag emoji. So we have all of these other groups of people who have different emojis for their flags, and we don't have an emoji for the Black American Heritage flag or the FBA flag. So we're going to use the United States flag. That doesn't, what is that? That shouldn't be a problem. But to him, it's a problem. Let's continue.
My main problem with it is it became a pretendian movement. In the beginning, it wasn't really that direct, because when he would say what we are ethnically, he would say, yeah, we are African genetically. Some of us came from Africa. It would go from, we're African genetically, but we just live in America and we're Black Americans now. Then it became, some of us came from Africa. And then it was just, we were already here. And now what you have is people who identify as FBA saying, oh, we're Aboriginals and we was already here. And the FBA is just another label that they add to the mix. And the last thing that happened more recently is when it became MAGA. There's a lot of FBA.
Okay, before we get into that, there are some people, and we're a lineage of what, 43 million people. There are some people who are going to say what they want to say. I'm not one of the people who deny the slave trade. I'm not one of the people who deny any African ancestry. I understand. I've known this before there was an FBA thing, that there were about 4, some people say 5, 4, around that, around 5 or 4%. Some people say even less than that, of the slaves from the slave trade came to America. That's the truth. It's about like 5%. That's the, okay, cool, okay. And that the 5% to 4% around that, let's just say 5 for the sake of the argument, around that, they got mixed in with the slaves that were already here. So yeah, we do have a tie. It's not nowhere near as big as y'all keep making it seem, because it was only about 5%. So it's nowhere near as big. It can't possibly be. It was most of the, and this is where our history and our history and our lineage, we're doing more genealogy, and we're starting to see that most of the slaves were actually here before and just got reclassified as Negro. So they were not the imported slaves. They were the domestic slaves that just got reclassified. That's really the most accurate history of it. And that's what people are learning. People are not saying, for the most part, I don't see too many FBAs who, for the most part, saying that the slave trade didn't happen at all. But what we're saying is that whole 5% thing you guys are clinging on to is not really that consequential, because most of the people here were really reclassified. That's what the accurate history is. All right. But we respect both. We're ethnogenesis mixture of both, of everything. That's what the three stars on the stripe on the flag, represent. That's what the 3 stars on the flag represent. Okay, shouldn't be an issue. Then he says we're MAGA. Let's hear what that means. Let's see what that. Okay, we're MAGA.
They're like these patriotic people. It's not really about us having our own ethnic identity, but trying to be some kind of conservative Black American Aboriginal thing, whatever it is. A lot of them are basically Black conservatives, but with a slight little twist. And the fourth thing I forgot to mention when making this video, it just became like anti-African and anti, Pan-Africanism.
We're Black conservatives with a slight little twist. What does that mean? What does that mean? And who are you to define somebody who's a Black conservative? If we're not saying we're Black conservatives, we're not conservative. Y'all saw the way we was. Let me be careful. But y'all saw the way, y'all saw our reaction to Charlie Kirk Y'all saw that. Everybody saw that. Our reaction to Charlie Kirk. So what are you talking about? We're conservative. How are we conservative when we're the main ones pushing for reparations, lineage-based reparations? The conservatives don't push for reparations. This is how you know. Anytime somebody says, well, y'all just MAGA, y'all say, well, no, we're the ones pushing for reparations. MAGA doesn't support reparations. So by definition, we couldn't be MAGA because they're against the concept of reparations. They're against the thought of reparations. So how can we be MAGA?
And I'm not a big Pan-Africanist, but if we're going to like have any allies outside of Black America, it's going to be other Black people in other places. And I don't know why we're completely shutting ourselves off. Now, I'm not saying every African loves us or every Caribbean loves us, but internationally, these are the only people that's going to be there. But yeah, FBA becoming what it is now, it really sucks, especially since I used to follow Tariq for a very long time. I liked all of his videos. I watched like every single live, and became what he's known for now. That just sucked. I thought FBA was going to be a positive thing for our people, but it just became pretending MAGA.
Pretending MAGA. Okay. That just sucks. No. You don't like first off, you upset about MAGA. Tariq is not MAGA, nor am I MAGA, nor are you guys MAGA. We're not MAGA here. So that means that there was some type of Democrat policy that you supported. You supported some type of Democrat, which the Democratic Party is no better than MAGA. They do no more good for the Black community than MAGA does. At least MAGA's open with the fact that they don't care about Black folk. MAGA's open with the fact that they don't support reparations. MAGA's at least truthful. That's the most I can give them. The Democratic Party is no better. So you sit up there the year y'all became MAGA. Well, you still a Democrat shield. So what's the difference? You're not better than me. You're not more pro-Black than me because of your political stance or political party. And we're not MAGA. We was talking about voting for the couch, not voting for Trump. Now, some who did, some who didn't. Some FBAs voted for Kamala. Some FBAs voted for Trump. It's a lineage. He's trying to denounce the lineage as if this is a group. It's a lineage. You can't denounce a lineage unless you're not from there. You can't do that. Boy, okay. You got some people, and I am literally born Pan-Africanism as some type of religion that they must claim to, because these people have low self-esteem and feel like they have no identity outside of it.
Raised in New Orleans. I am literally born and raised in New Orleans. I do not have any blood relatives who are from the African continent. And you're right, I am not an FBA. FBA stands for fear of being African. I do not have a fear of being African or of my African heritage. And I definitely do not hate on people who are not from the US. Even though I am not an African myself, you are not insulting me by calling me an African. Like, that's not a word that I'm afraid or ashamed of. If you think I, as a Black American, am from Africa, that is proof that Black Americans and Africans have more similarities than differences. I can trace my family lineage in Louisiana back well over 300 years. My ancestors are African, European, and indigenous, like many Creoles in Louisiana. So, yeah.
If you're a Creole in Louisiana and you're a mixture of all of that stuff, let's say for the sake of the argument, why do you only claim Africa then? Why is it a thing where you can admit that foundational Black Americans are a mixture of everything, all of the three stars here? We're a mixture of all of the three stars, but the only star we should claim is Africa. Why? Why? I want y'all to honestly think about that. Does that make sense? If you're a mixture of all three different things, of three different sets of people, of different histories and different cultures, of spanning hundreds of years, but you can only claim one, why? Who else in the world does that? No. Because you guys who, and I'm really giving you a little bit of leeway saying that you really are Creole or whatever. Y'all treat Pan-Africanism like it's some type of god, like it's a deity. The land of Africa, like it's a deity, and it's not. It's not. They make it seem like it's blasphemy not to claim to be African. When does somebody, even if somebody was from Africa, I'm asking the Tethers this question. How far removed does somebody have to be to not be African? 100 years, 200 years, 300 years, 400 years, 500? How long? How long does somebody have to be removed to not be from that place? How long does somebody have to be on a different land to be of that land? 200, 300, 400 years is not long enough? No, because you guys are treating Africa like it's a religion, and we're just not going with that no more. That's just not what we believe. That's just not what we think. No, stop doing that. You guys are afraid of being African. You're afraid of being American. You're afraid of being American. How about that? How about that? You worship Africa. We should come up with something else. Okay. PAR, Pan-African religion. PAG, Pan-African God. Like, what do you want to do? Like PAZ, Pan-African Zionist, zealot. You're a Pan-African zealot. PAZ, how about that? I just coined a new term. You're a PAZ. You're a PAZ. You're a Pan-African zealot. You believe in Pan-Africanism yes, that's what it is. You're a Pan-African zealot. How about that? Look, y'all be tossing and turning Africa, Africa, Africa. Guess what the craziest part about that is? Let me get closer. Guess what the craziest part? Guess what the craziest part about that is? Every single one of them live in America. Every single one of them live in America. All of them do. None of these Pan-Africanist zealots live in Africa. That's the craziest part. All of them live in America. And they're in Louisiana talking about how great Africa is. And they don't want to live there. That's the crazy. They don't want to live in a place that they identify with and that they worship. They don't want to live there. That's like a Bible thumper who's always talking about how much they love the Bible, how much they love Jesus, how much they love Christ, how much they love the church, but don't go to church. Have you ever seen that? They're always talking about the Bible. They're always talking about it, but they ain't go to church on no Sunday, no Saturday, no Wednesday. They don't go to church on Easter, damn it. But they talking about the Bible all the time. Imagine somebody talking about the Bible, don't read the Bible. That's them. That's them. They talking about Africa. A lot of them ain't even been one time, but they talking about Africa would literally cry, roll around in tears, talking about how they don't want to live in Africa though. Oh, I like it as a fantasy. They like it as some type of fantasy, but they don't want to live there. But they want us to embrace the fantasy with them. No, I don't believe it. No, we're not going to live in fantasy world, in la la world. We're not doing that. That's how we don't get anything done, family. We can't move the needle living in this la la Pan-African Wakanda. With that's not real. And you know it's not. That's why you don't live there. She knows it's not. That's why she does not live there. We also got to watch out for the half FBAs. Okay. Now remember, it was like, how'd that happen? Remember, it was like a month ago, Amanda Seals, she was on that Jubilee channel and she was debating, she was delineating. Let's do a little reminder. Let's do a little reminder of Amanda Seals, because Amanda Seals been popping off. Okay. Got to talk about a girl, Amanda. Hold on. Amanda Seals. Let's see that. Hold on. Where is it? Hold on. All right. Look at this.
Example, we had a really good example of this where it's not a police, because I remember you said. Where are you from? I got to make it small like that. Where am I from? What do you mean by that? Like, what state am I from? Where was I born?
Where do you live right now?
I live in Florida. I was born in Angola, though. I was born in sub-Saharan Africa. Okay.
Where did you grow up for most of your time?
Okay. Remember that? And now hold on.
Avoid it.
It's not the truth. It's not the nothing you say is actually the truth. Nothing. You're not even American. You're not even a Black American. Listen, as the daughter of an immigrant, it is imperative that Black people from other places understand the disparate difference that they exist from Black people in the United States.
Okay, and that's all I'm gonna play from that because I don't want to get a copyright. Remember that? Oh, and everybody's like, oh, look, she delineated, which she was. But I told you guys when it first happened, y'all need to watch out because they're using the delineation movement so they can boost their own profiles. Amanda said this recently. Amanda, oh yeah, y'all thought she was on some FBA type of time. This is what she had to say about FBA.
Somebody an elected official on the electoral level that has Sisters of Town. Y'all came to my play and never said anything about it. I invited y'all. 9 of you said you were coming. 7 canceled the day before. You came to the play and I just never heard anything about it from you. I don't know. That was weird. So, none of y'all can name a single Black elected official that has been able to make significant change. Every time y'all say FBA, you are a representative of the FBI. Every single person that I see that makes reference to FBA, Foundational Black Americans, you are COINTELPRO. You are FBI. So just know that. Maurice Bishop is from Grenada. So every time that y'all say Amanda run for office, every time.
All right. First off, there needs to be a wellness check on old girl. There needs to be a wellness check. She looked like a bum. You was just going viral the other day. You should be having everything popping, but you look like you ain't left home in weeks. I don't know why you decided to turn your camera on and go live, but y'all heard that. Now she was just delineating, which I told you don't put too much faith in her because she was against delineation a couple years ago. Now she's for delineation, but now she's calling FBA COINTELPRO. Now she's calling FBA FBI. Okay, all right, cool. All right, cool. No, okay, I'll remember that. Trust me, we don't forget nothing over here. We don't forget anything over here. Yeah, can people put cats in the group chat? She looked like her eating the popcorn or whatever. Come on now, what are you doing? Looking like a cat lady. Amanda, this is not the look. Come on. Way to not capitalize off of your viral moment. Talk about a flop. It's only been about a month. And it was the foundational Black Americans who were out here really supporting you, who were saying you did a good job. It was us who was saying you were doing a okay. First off, it was a really, really great job, but it was an okay job. And then you turn around and talk about how FBA is COINTELPRO. Okay, all right. Okay, Amanda. Okay, Miss Cat Lady. Amanda the Cat Lady. I don't know if that was popcorn she was eating or catnip. It might not have been popcorn. You might think it's popcorn. I might think it's popcorn, but she might have been eating some of her cat's food. She was all like, oh, well, Mr. Whiskers, he left the bowl out here. Let me just have a little snack. Okay. All right. Let me get super chats real quick. Maxine sends a super chat. Omega, he sends a super chat saying, where's all the fighting white supremacy tethers talking about? All of these fighting white supremacy tethers don't be talking about the fact that there's no Pan-Africanism that you can find in Africa. There's no sense of we're all one people, we're all unified. That doesn't exist in Africa, but that exists here, and they love it here. That they want that to exist here. Omar says Caribbean people claiming Malcolm is diabolical. It is. They're trying to do that because they don't have nobody that they can really rep for real. like that. Okay, Dakota Jenkins says most slaves went to South America and the Caribbean and Central America. U.S. got 5%, if that, and that was the last stop. African DNA is a part of us, but we had the ethnogenesis. Many of us were already here. That's the scientific historical truth of the matter. Thank you very much for that. Chandler says, as always, Elite, you are truly doing the creator's work. Thank you very much, and I greatly appreciate your support. And then Dakota Jenkins says, FBA delineation is not about hate, only survival. It's what is necessary. It's what is needed. And it's the right thing to do. Either we're going to do this or we might as well give up. We might as well quit. But we're not going to quit. That's just not who we are. That's not what we're made of. We're not a quitting group of people. We're not. And this is the only way we can succeed. This is the only path forward. Otherwise, we might as well stop. And we're not going to stop, so we got to accept this path. It's the only way. It's the only way. Before we leave, I want to give a special, I guess, tribute. I don't know if it's a tribute or a shout out necessarily, but a FBA legend in the music field has recently transitioned. Okay. So I definitely want to make sure we give our brother his flowers. Okay. You know, that's it's a sad day. It's sad. Okay. D'Angelo, he's a R&B FBA R&B icon, Grammy winner. Recently passed away at the age of 51 years old. I gotta say so can we put some flowers in the chat for our brother D'Angelo? They don't really make R&B like they used to. They really don't. That and a lot of that, let's be honest with you, and I'm not even trying to be hateful or mean-spirited or anything like that, but a lot of that, yeah, the neo soul R&B, it was R&B / neo soul because he did multiple different things. He was a very talented brother. He was very, very talented, very talented. They just don't make them like that no more. And that's because a lot of the labels have gotten involved in the labels. They prefer a bunch of the immigrants and a lot of that stuff. It's just the cultural aspect of it, the soul that you get from it. You don't really get that no more, man. You really don't. You really don't get that no more. So much respect, with condolences to his family. I'm not sure if he has any children or not, or whatever the case may be, but you know, condolences. It's a sad thing. 51 is not young, but he still had a lot more life to live. You know, he still had many more good years. So unfortunately, he transitioned. We never really know when it's anybody's time in particular, but we respect his work and what he did, you know, and hopefully we can use this as an opportunity to highlight how good his music was and to say how much we need this of today. How much we need this of today. We need music like this today. We do. We need music like that. So I've been listening to some of his old stuff and I'm like, man, I really used to like that song. I still do. I really used to. That was my song back in the day. I really liked his songs. His songs were really good. You know, and we need more artists making that stuff. Now, a lot of with the R&B stuff, first off, you don't really have any neo soul, not on the mainstream, but like the R&B stuff, it's too much like we popping perks and we doing this, and it's not, there's no romance to it. And I'm not, no lover person like that. Like, you know what I'm saying? I be listening to romance all the time. I'm not like none of that type stuff. There's nothing wrong with romance. Romance is good. I like romance, but you know what I'm saying? It's not like that's all I listen to, but when I listen to it, it needs to be good. Romance is good. Romance is good. And you should have a balance of that. You know what I'm saying? But now we don't have that anymore. You know, that good R&B that you can kind of play. And some of the things of his music is that you can play that at like a late night thing. If you and, you know, your company is maybe just chilling together. Y'all know. If y'all are just enjoying somebody's company, y'all put on some D'Angelo, you know, that brown sugar. Then you could put that on, you know. You can put that on, you cleaning the house and you in that good R&B mood, you can put that on. The kids can listen to it. The grandma's not gonna sit up there and take out her hearing aid if she hears D'Angelo. It's good for everybody, you know. It's something nice and sexy for adults, but it's something still appropriate for, you know, other people to listen to as well. We don't have none of that no more. I'm not gonna say none, but we really don't have that. It's at such a slow level, low level. I mean, it's at a low level. But I have hope. I have hope, though. I have hope, and I do believe that now that because on his Spotify and Apple Music, a lot of his music has spiked up. So I hope that since a lot of his music has spiked up, some people will maybe go there and get some inspiration. New artists will get some inspiration, maybe do like a remix or something like that to the song where they voice the song over or make a song like that. So with opportunities like that, you know, like this in cancer, it's just such a sad thing. It really is. But hopefully the end of his life brings a birth of something great. That's what I hope. That's what I hope. So, yeah, much respect to that. RIP to our brother. Now, what I need you guys to do is I need you guys to hit that like button. I need y'all to hit that like button. I need y'all to hit that subscribe button. I need y'all to hit that share button. Thank you guys very much. Double check, make sure if you guys like this content, double check, make sure that you guys get all of that stuff pressed, because that does help us on the algorithm. That does help us grow the channel, reach new audiences, all of that stuff. So I greatly appreciate you guys for that. All right. We had a good one. We were a little bit behind, but we still locked in and we got it good. We got a good one in. So I appreciate y'all, but I got some stuff I got to handle, some very important stuff. So y'all tune in tomorrow. Y'all be back tomorrow because we got some important stuff we got to make sure we cover. All right. So with that being said, good night, family. And of course, you all stay blessed.